one day, so I was broke as shit. I was living at home. My mother was making me a sandwich to eat every day, and I was always skinny. So my mother would make me these sandwiches. And they were fucking these huge Italian, mortadella, blah, 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 giant sandwiches. So I take the sandwich out. I'm reading it because I couldn't afford to eat lunch in New York every day, right? So one day, Al walks by and he looks at my sandwich and he takes half the sandwich. He fucking takes a bite and he goes, hey, this is really good. And he went in his pocket. He took $100. He threw it on the table on my desk and he left. I was like, oh, fuck. I just made $100 on like a half a sandwich. So I told my mom, I said, we need to make the fucking sandwich again tomorrow because I have no money. That was like a week's pay, you know what I mean? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
He comes by the next day. He goes, who makes these sandwiches? I said, your mother. He goes, tell your mother she's a saint. Takes the whole fucking sandwich, throws the fucking $100 on the thing. And then he
took twice as much as yesterday and gives you the same amount.
Oh, here's the better part. He gives me his car. He drove a Ferrari. He takes the car keys. He goes, I left the car out. He blocked 44 wall with his car. He goes, move my car for me. Right. So going out there, there's like traffic everywhere. I don't even know how to drive a fucking Ferrari. I have
this
no
guy
idea.
sounds like the Ben Affleck character in Boiler Room is what he sounds like. Did he slide his Ferrari keys down the end?
No, he just threw the car down. And then I didn't even know how to drive it. So luckily there was another guy there who usually drives it who was like, come down with me and we'll go park it in the parking garage. This motherfucker was parking on the sidewalk in front of 44 wall. He didn't give a fuck. But this was a guy that was making 25 years ago. He was making like $10 million a month. Right. And it was all champagne for everybody. It was lavish. It was this, was that. So this stuff with this SBF guy and his girlfriend, that reminds me of that boiler room kind of stock manipulation. And I went on and became a NASDAQ equity trader, and it was very regulated, and I learned a lot from that. And then I went on and I did order execution for mutual funds. That was highly regulated. But they were all lunatics. Everybody in that industry is fucking 100% money driven and 100% nuts.
That's such a good point that you make. And I think it's a big part of this FTX story is this sort of like mentality of like, risk all the time, and as long as my risk pays off, then it's all good. And it sort of leads to this crazy lifestyle which is like go and you have to be intense. So that makes sense, and it's exactly the kind of stuff that was going on like with these FTX people.
I worked at the last job I had, I worked at in Midtown, and it was Miller Tabak Hirsch was the name of the company. It was old school.
That's familiar.
Order execution company, right? Execution for mutual funds, execution for all this stuff. You would get like, you'd get like 10,000 shares of Caterpillar to execute. I mean, it was like fucking nuts, like the amount of money, right? So you would go there, and this speaks to this intensity. You would go there in the morning, say you arrived at 7, they'd have a chef in there. He'd make you breakfast. You want eggs, you want bacon, you want this, you want that, whatever. Around 10:30, they'd come to give you a little snack, and they'd come with these books of menus. You could go through any of the menus you want. You could order anything. They had people that was just their fucking job, that they would say, what do you want? Oh, you want something from Parks Deli or Pax Deli? Is that what you want? No problem. What do you want? Boom, 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 boom. They bring it to you. They replate it, and they bring it to you. Now then they come back in the afternoon with energy bars, coffee, all this stuff. And then if you work till 7, which you had to because you didn't even walk away from your fucking desk to pee, right? They give you car service home. And it all started again the next day. And it was always like that, But this place was really, really like high intensity, like a lot of order execution. But
that's interesting, that those kinds of benefits, like people on Silicon Valley always like, people hear about like these perks that like Google and all these companies have, but they don't realize that the point of these perks are to keep you chained to your desk.
That's what it did. And that's exactly what it did. And when I eventually left, I left there because, and I never went back to doing it again. There was every Tuesday night or every other Tuesday night, you had to go out to dinner with your group. Right. So like my group was
forced socialization, I guess.
Forced socialization. Right. And it was one night I couldn't make it. And they said, you have to be here. And I was like, I don't know what it was. I was just having a kid. I don't know what the fuck was happening. And they got really upset with that. And I said, look, don't make me make a choice. And they said, well, we can make a choice for you. And I said, okay.
Right.
I said, if that's how you feel, then that's how I feel too. I'm not interested. You know what I mean? And I left a lot of money on the table. Like I was doing very, very well and never went back to it. But in between that and in between the Schlock House, there was a lot of things that remind me of these guys.